In this video, we will look into fine-tuning data entry rules. I will show you examples of the different rule options. I will start by going to the Rules section. Here I select the data entry rule I created earlier. At the bottom of the page I click the Edit button so I can modify the rule values. I will have a look at the date rule field. There are 4 options available. The default value for the rule is auto-detect, which means BillBjorn will have an educated guess what the field value might be. You should leave the value at auto-detect unless the auto-detect algorithm does not extract the data correctly. If BillBjorn does not extract the date correctly, you can change the rule type. None means that the field is left empty. Received date means that the invoice date will be set to the date the document was uploaded. When you select fixed location, you can select the area in the invoice where the date is located. Please note that only works if the date is always at the exact same location on the invoice. With the fixed location rule you also have the option to select first page, or last page. This is useful for multi-page invoices where, for example, the invoice total is on the last page. The date format drop-down box allows you to choose a date format for the invoice. This is useful when you receive invoices from overseas that have a different date format. The total field has a few more options available. As I mentioned before, always try the auto-detect rule first and only modify this rule if auto-detect does not work. One useful rule option is called fixed value. This will set the invoice amount always to the same value. If your internet bill is, for example, $50 every month, you can simply choose the fixed value option, and enter 50 here. I then press OK to save my rule. Now I go back to the inbox to test my rule. I select the document I want to test and then select Resubmit for processing from up here. I confirm with OK. The reprocessing only takes a couple of seconds. What the reprocessing does is, it simply reapplies my rule. As you can see here, the invoice total has been set to 50 because I used the fixed value rule. I will go back to the Rules section and select another rule type. As mentioned before, the fixed location rule lets you select the location of the total field. This works only if the total is always in the exact same position. If your invoice contains a number of line items, and your total position moves up and down based on the number of line items you have, you cannot use the fixed location rule. Instead, you could give the highest price, or last price rule a try. To explain these rule types I will go back to the inbox and then open the invoice preview. The highest price rule and last price rule look at all the text entries that are formatted like a price. It starts with $22.87 here, the next price is $19.50, $25.23, $19.99, $22.14, $23.96, $133.69, $20, $26.74, $160.43. The highest price rule compares all the prices and selects the highest price. In this example the highest price would be $160.43, which is the invoice total we want. This would work quite well in this example. The last price rule works similar to the highest price rule, but chooses the price that is closest to the bottom of the invoice. In this example we have a text here saying, total includes $26.74 tax. In this example the last price rule would choose the incorrect price because the total is not the price closest to the bottom of the invoice. I will now go back to my Rules section and give the highest price rule a go. I simply select highest price from the total drop-down box and save my changes. I then go back to the inbox to test my changes. Like before I select the invoice and click on Resubmit for processing. After a couple of seconds the processing is finished. I can already see in the preview that the correct price has been selected. I will have a closer look at the processing result. I open the invoice in the preview. Then I click on View Recognition Details. I can see here that BillBjorn correctly selected $160.43 as the invoice total. The screen also shows you where the total comes from. $160.43 is color-coded here. This screen also shows you which rule has been applied. Here it says, Highest price because this is the algorithm that we selected in the rules section. As you can see, BillBjorn is quite flexible and gives you full control over the extraction process. I will now go back to the rules section. To summarize the extraction options, you should always try the auto detect option first. Only if the auto detect option does not work, you should change to another rule type. The fixed value rule type is the simplest rule type. It sets the invoice total to the same value every time. If the invoice total is always in the exact same position on the invoice, you can select the fixed location rule. If you have no luck with these rule options, you can also try the highest price and last price rule options. I hope this video gave you an insight into how you can fine-tune your data extraction rules. Thank you for watching.